All right, so you probably saw the news by now. I'm a little late to the party on this one, but Khamzat Chimaev taking on Robert Whittaker has just been announced as the main event in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, going down June 22nd.
June 22nd, we'll be going to Saudi Arabia. Our first fight in the Kingdom will be a fight night that will air live and free on ABC. And the main event will be former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker versus 13-0 undefeated Khamzat Chimaev to see who will be the #1 contender for the UFC middleweight championship.
Let me tell you, this is going to be an incredible night of fights. Riyadh season continues with the UFC, the first ever UFC fight night to take place there. And this will be a fight night, not a pay-per-view. Every single time Khamzat Chimaev has fought, it's been on a pay-per-view, but this fight night is going to deliver some incredible fights. And as I said, the main event, Robert the Reaper Whittaker taking on Borz, the undefeated Chechen, the wrestling nightmare, the man that dominates a lot of people, runs right through most of them, okay? Taking on a real test in Robert Whittaker. And according to Robert Whittaker, this fight is a #1 contender matchup.
Dana White announced my fight against Khamzat Chimaev on June 22nd in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a contender fight and it's 5-round main event.
Whoever wins this fight, according to Whittaker, will go on to fight the champion. And that champion could be Dricus du Plessis. It could be Israel Adesanya. We don't know. But I do assume that rematch gets announced sometime soon. It's a logical matchup. We know Sean Strickland's talking shit. We know Sean Strickland's not happy. He's refusing to fight. He's even threatening leaving the UFC and going to boxing if he doesn't get a rematch straight away. That ain't going to work, okay? I think it's going to be Izzy versus Dricus with all the bad blood. But still, never mind that. We're talking about Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker. And the question is, listen, it's a great fight, right? Joe Rogan's a fan of this fight. And he warns Khamzat Chimaev, by the way, about Robert Whittaker. He said, listen, Robert Whittaker's the real deal. Robert Whittaker is a real middleweight.
Bro, Whittaker versus Khamzat is legit. That's a real fight for Khamzat.
Let's remember, Robert is the former middleweight champion of the world that's beaten some tremendous people. The wars with Yoel Romero. He has proved himself time after time after time. Just a few weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, took out Paulo Costa in a stunning fight and showed he's still got a chin. Yes, we know Dricus dropped him with a jab. Dricus got him on a good night. Simple as that. Not taken away from Dricus. Dricus is and was phenomenal that night. Robert got caught. Simple as that. We all get caught, but he took some heavy kicks, spinning wheel kicks from Paulo Costa and still continued to fight and won a decision fair and square. Joe Rogan says that Robert Whittaker is a real middleweight, okay? Not like Kamaru Usman. Robert Whittaker did fight at welterweight for quite some time as well before he came up and became the new version.
He's a big, beefy 185, former champion. You know, they gave him Kamaru Usman, and Kamaru didn't have a chance to prepare for that. He had 10 days.
Anyway, the title of this video is, can Khamzat Chimaev even go 5 rounds? Okay, can he go 5 rounds? Right, that is a real question, and we're not being insulted. But Khamzat Chimaev has been an absolute force of nature. The man is undefeated. He's run roughshod. He's just dominated everybody for the most part. 13-0. Apart from Kamaru Usman and apart from Gilbert Burns. That's 2 out of his last 3 fights. Squeezed in between there. Kevin Holland took him out in 2 minutes, 13 seconds. Got him with a Bravo choke. Dominated him, just like he does everybody else. And even Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns to a certain extent as well. But in Kamaru Usman in that fight, he dominated him like no one's ever done that. He ran out, he picked up Kamaru Usman, he took him down, he out-wrestled him, he dominated him, he almost choked him out. He almost finished him in round 1. But then he didn't. He didn't finish it, okay? And the fight continued to rounds 2 and 3, and Khamzat was visibly tired, okay? And Kamaru Usman started to take over. Kamaru Usman said if there was 2 more rounds in that fight, he would have won.
I didn't trust my shape. I'm a championship fighter. You can't start slow like that. You know, I say give me a couple extra rounds. I think the world knows what that result might be.
And there's a good possibility that that could be true because Khamzat was exhausted. And when you get tired in a fight, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're tired, the skills go out the window. You're exhausted. You don't want to be there. Sure, you're still going to fight. You're still going to give it your all, but you're absolutely fucking exhausted, okay? So you're pretty much useless. Once the gas tank goes, it's over. And this is the first time that Khamzat Chimaev has ever been scheduled to do 5 rounds in the UFC. As I say, he's fought on nothing but pay-per-views. The man's a massive star. He's going to be the hometown favorite in a big, big way in Riyadh. In Saudi Arabia, the people are going to go mental for him, okay? But Robert Whittaker is battle tested at the highest level, okay? And he can go 5 rounds. He's done it many, many times, okay? Done it against Israel Adesanya on multiple occasions. Twice with Yoel Romero and many others as well. Going 5 rounds will not be an issue for Robert Whittaker. But Khamzat Chimaev gets tired. The problem for Khamzat is that he's so confident, okay?
Smash everybody, take the bonus, and drink coconut.
That's because he's undefeated. 13-0, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions, only 2 fights. Usman and Gilbert, they went to a decision, the only 2. His problem is that because he is so dominant and he is such a force of nature, he expects to just kill everybody. And when he can't do that, he gets tired. And it's kind of a gift and a curse, isn't it? Because if he goes for it, he gets it done most of the time, okay? But when he can't get it done, when he can't get the finish, he's put so much energy out there, he's expended so much that he gets tired. And that's not an insult. That's just the way it goes. So what does he do in this fight? Does he take it slow? Does he pace himself? Well, he's going to have to pace himself. But if he paces himself, he might not get the finish and he won't perform like he always does. And as I say again, I am not criticizing. It's just a real conundrum, right? Do I believe, brother, that I can go out there and smash this guy? Yes, he could, probably, maybe. But what if he can't? What if he empties the tank? What if he gives everything he's got to get that finish and Robert Whittaker is still standing? He could be f***ed, okay? Right? And there's going to be a lot of pressure on his shoulders fighting in Saudi Arabia. And, of course, a potential title fight on the line. So you don't want to get this one wrong. Listen, I've said it all the time. You can't be a marathon runner and a sprinter at the same time. It's just impossible, okay? And you never see that, okay? You've just got 2 different body types. You've got fast twitch muscle fiber. You can explode fast. You can sprint like a madman. You're exceptionally strong. You're explosive as hell. Or you can go long distances. You can go all goddamn day long. But on the flip side from that, you're not as powerful, you're not as explosive, and you're not as strong, okay? So, as I say, it's just his body type. Or is it the pacing? Now, look, listen, he could pace himself a little bit better, but is he going to do that? Is Khamzat Chimaev really going to go out there against Robert Whittaker, a main event in Saudi Arabia, and not fight the way that he always fights? Experience is the best way to learn. And his experience has taught him that every time he does this, even if he does get tired, he can still win the fight. Okay, so I don't expect Khamzat Chimaev to change a goddamn thing. And that's why I'm looking forward to this fight, because that's why we love Khamzat Chimaev. The way that he ran through people, Li Jingliang picked him up in the air, had a conversation with Dana before he chokes him out. Gerald Meerschaert, 1 shot, boom, 17 seconds. Reese McKee made short work of him. John Phillips again, second round for John Phillips actually. And Kevin Holland again just ran right through him. Robert Whittaker on the other side, can he stop the takedowns? Can he stop the takedowns of Khamzat Chimaev? Because he stopped other great wrestlers, Yoel Romero, number 1, a man that went to the Olympics, okay? If he could stop the takedowns of Yoel Romero, he can probably stop the takedowns of a Khamzat Chimaev. Kamaru Usman couldn't. Kamaru Usman is a big, strong guy. I know he took the fight on short notice, about 10 days, okay? So he wasn't prepared, but he still had a better gas tank than Chimaev going into the later rounds. But he couldn't stop the takedowns. So if Whittaker can't stop the takedowns, okay, he's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Khamzat Chimaev is very good on the ground, but will he still be effective as the fight plays out? I just don't know. And who wins? Well, I don't know about that either, because it all depends on the gas tank and it all depends on the approach. And who will he fight? The winner of this fight, no doubt, is going to fight the winner of Dricus versus Izzy. So where does that leave Sean Strickland in all of this? Sean Strickland's probably waiting out in the sidelines, waiting to get a fight. But if this is truly a number 1 contender matchup and Dricus versus Izzy doesn't happen for a few months, let's say it goes down in, let's pick a month, August. They fight in August. Whittaker versus Khamzat, the winner of that fight's in what, September? No. October? November? Is Strickland not going to fight all year? The man's going to have to fight, whether he likes it or not, or the division will move on without him. That's what we see all the time. And it's just a sad reality. The division will move on and other people will get to fight, become a champion, defend the belt, make money, okay? And that ultimately, that's what we're doing this for. Yes, we love the challenge, we love the test, but we want to get paid. We are prize fighters at the end of the day. So, Khamzat Chimaev, what do you think? Can he go 5 rounds? He can go 5 rounds. Of course he can. But will he be able to go 5 rounds at the pace that Robert Whittaker can keep? That's the real question. What will the approach of Khamzat Chimaev be? Will he go out there and do the exact same thing he always does? Because if he doesn't do that, it's not going to be quite the same threat. If he doesn't fight like that, he allows Whittaker to impose his game plan. So it's a very, very interesting scenario, and I cannot wait to see how it plays out. Now, regarding the rest of the card, we've got some great fights as well. Sergey Pavlovich, the knockout artist that lost to Tom Aspinall in the interim title fight. He's returning against Alexander Volkov. The Battle of the Russians. Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez in a welterweight showdown. And of course, Brazil's own Johnny Walker taking on Volkan Oezdemir in a very interesting clash at light heavyweight. So there's some thoughts and some questions on this whole situation. I'm going to be commentating this fight. I cannot wait to be there. Never been to beautiful Riyadh before, never been to Saudi Arabia. Very much looking forward to it. But what do you think? Who wins this fight? And can Khamzat Chimaev go 5 rounds at the pace that he likes to fight? That's the question. Let me know the answer. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. See you soon.